Hello everyone. Welcome to my GMB News 24 channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Every weekday morning, as the first light stretches across the skyline and kettles begin to whistle in kitchens across the UK, one familiar face greets the nation: Susanna Reid. Calm, composed, and effortlessly engaging, she has become a comforting presence on Good Morning Britain, a voice of clarity in a fast-moving world. But behind the polished delivery of breaking headlines and warm on-screen smiles lies a story far more layered, one that blends resilience, independence, and a quiet kind of strength. The morning rush. At precisely 4:15 a.m., Susanna's alarm hums softly in the dark. It's a sound she's long grown used to, neither welcome nor unwelcome, simply part of her rhythm. While most of the world still sleeps, she begins her transformation from private individual to public figure. The studio lights of ITV are bright, almost blinding at that hour, but Susanna thrives in that intensity. The rush of live broadcasting, the countdown in her earpiece, the urgency of breaking news, fuels her. 3, 2, 1. And just like that, she's on. Her voice is steady as she delivers headlines that shape the nation's understanding of the world. Politics, global events, human stories, she navigates them all with precision. But what viewers adore most is her balance, the ability to shift seamlessly from hard-hitting interviews to moments of laughter. One such moment became unexpectedly iconic: the wardrobe crisis. It happened on an otherwise ordinary morning. The kind that begins with coffee and script revisions, not chaos. Just minutes before going live, Susanna glanced down and froze. A tiny but stubborn wardrobe malfunction had appeared. A loose seam, barely noticeable to most, suddenly felt enormous under the pressure of live television. Producers buzzed around her, stylists rushed in, and for a brief moment, the calm anchor felt a flicker of panic. But then, she laughed. That laugh, genuine, slightly self-deprecating, cut through the tension. "Well," she joked, "that's live TV for you." Moments later, she was back in her chair, composed as ever. Viewers at home never suspected the mini-drama that had unfolded just seconds earlier. It was a small incident, but it revealed something essential about Susanna: her ability to handle chaos with grace, and to find humor even in stressful situations. Life beyond the camera. When the cameras switch off, Susanna steps into a very different role, one she guards far more closely. A mother of 3, she treasures the quieter moments of life. School runs, shared meals, late-night conversations. These are the pieces of her world that never make headlines but mean everything to her. Her journey into motherhood began during her long-term relationship with Dominic Cotton. The two met in 1998, both immersed in journalism, both driven and ambitious. Together, they built a life and welcomed 3 sons: Sam, Finn, and Jack. 4 years, they were partners not just in love, but in life's daily rhythms. But in 2014, the same year Susanna stepped into her role on Good Morning Britain, their relationship came to an end. It was a turning point, one that could have shaken her foundation. Instead, she adapted, choosing independence. Where many might have rushed to redefine their personal lives, Susanna chose something different: independence. In interviews, she has often spoken candidly about her comfort in solitude. "I'm perfectly happy with my own company," she once shared, a statement that resonated deeply with fans. In a world that often equates happiness with constant companionship, her perspective feels refreshingly honest. Her mornings may be filled with adrenaline, but her evenings are quieter, moments of reflection, of simply being. For Susanna, solitude isn't loneliness, it's restoration. A brief romance in the spotlight. Of course, being a public figure means that even the most private chapters rarely stay hidden for long. In 2018, headlines linked her to Steve Parish, the chairman of Crystal Palace FC. Their introduction came through none other than Piers Morgan, her former co-presenter. For a while, their relationship captured public curiosity. They seemed, on the surface, an intriguing match, two successful individuals navigating high-profile careers. But the romance was short-lived. By April 2019, they had parted ways. Speculation lingered, as it often does. Rumors of reconciliation surfaced from time to time, but Susanna never confirmed them. Instead, she returned to her familiar stance, keeping her private life just that, private. The ring that sparked questions. Years later, a single detail reignited public curiosity. During one broadcast, viewers noticed something unusual, a ring on the fourth finger of her left hand. Social media lit up instantly. Was she engaged? Married? Had she changed her mind? The speculation was intense, but Susanna remained characteristically calm. She offered no dramatic reveal, no headline-grabbing statement. And perhaps that silence said more than words ever could. Because for Susanna, her personal life isn't a performance. It doesn't require explanation or validation. Redefining love on her own terms. What makes Susanna's story particularly compelling is her perspective on love and marriage. In a society that often places marriage on a pedestal, she has openly challenged that narrative. She has made it clear, repeatedly, that marriage was never her ambition. "I think the focus should be on the relationship," she once said. It's a simple idea, but a powerful one. Her stance isn't rooted in cynicism, but in clarity. She values connection, commitment, and authenticity, but not necessarily the traditional framework that often accompanies them. And in doing so, she has quietly redefined what a fulfilling life can look like. The woman behind the headlines. It's easy to see Susanna Reid as the sum of her professional achievements, a respected journalist, a skilled presenter, a household name. But her story is more than that. It's the story of a woman who has navigated change without losing herself, who has balanced public visibility with private boundaries, who has embraced both the chaos of live television and the calm of her own company. She doesn't chase the spotlight, it simply finds her. A new kind of role model. In many ways, Susanna represents a modern kind of role model. She's not defined by traditional milestones. She hasn't followed a prescribed path. Instead, she's created her own, one shaped by choices that reflect her values, not societal expectations. And perhaps that's why viewers feel such a strong connection to her. Because beyond the headlines and the studio lights, she feels real. The quiet strength of being yourself. As another morning broadcast comes to an end, Susanna gathers her notes and steps away from the desk. The studio lights dim, the cameras stop rolling, and the world moves on to its next story. But for her, the day is just beginning. There are children to check in on, moments to savor, and perhaps, if time allows, a quiet cup of tea. No headlines. No scripts. Just life. And in that quiet, away from the noise, Susanna Reid remains exactly who she has always been. Composed, independent, and entirely herself. A woman who doesn't need the world to define her, because she's already done that on her own terms.